What's up, everybody? You're listening to another episode of the SignatureCAST, where we talk bodybuilding, business, and everything in between. And in between is an understatement. To my right, Mr. No Limits, Devon Larratt, his beautiful wife, Jodi, and of course, the head coaches of the High Five, New Jersey's #1 arm wrestling team, Jason Ciardi and Christopher Florenda. Guys, thank you so much for coming on today. I don't even know how to control my excitement right now. First and foremost, Devin, how was the trip down? How's the bicep? What's going on in the life?
Easy days. Yeah, Jodi drove the whole way. I played on my phone, so no problems there. Arm is good. You can see, I don't know if you can see the lighting. You can see a little tear.
Yeah, a little bit.
That?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm just hoping I'm going to end up looking like Larry Wheels and no problems. So far, so good. Yeah, the rehab for it, well, what is it? I'm over a month now, and it's really been smooth sailing. Yeah.
Great. And Jodi, thank you for doing the driving. I'm sure he was, sleeping.
Well, believe me, you don't have to thank me. It's me taking my own life into my hands when I decide to drive over Devin.
Gotcha. A little road rage to my right.
No, not rage. Just sometimes he still thinks he's in Kandahar when he's driving. So, yeah.
And Jason and Chris, obviously, thank you guys so much for, we all work together to make this happen. This is extremely exciting for everybody in the arm wrestling world. This, I believe, is Devin's first podcast post Levan.
First podcast post Levan, first seminar.
Ooh, and how long?
Oh my God, it's like before the pandemic.
Oof.
Or yeah.
So
like years.
Years.
So it's gonna be all fresh, man.
And guys, I know this will come out afterwards, but if you weren't here, tomorrow is going to be an amazing day. We're holding a massive seminar, 85 people, and then a practice where we're hoping we're blowing like the doors off, 200. Who knows? Maybe we'll just open the floodgates and go crazy.
It's crazy.
It's going to be amazing.
Love it.
Well, like I said, thank you guys so much for coming on. So we have a bunch of things to go over. First and foremost, though, we said, how is the arm? You said it's healing, right? But what I really want to dive into, and this is to give the viewers at home, some of these people here at Signature Fitness who might not know too much about arm wrestling or too much about yourself. What is your why? What made you get into arm wrestling, and what's made you stick into it for so long? Because I know we're going to get to some juicy stuff at the end, but I want to put a little base layer, a little foundation for everyone listening at home.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, why is everything in anything that you're doing in life? I think that the why is it's the base of the pyramid. It's what everything is built off of. And I'm a very simple person, super simple. I feel good when I arm wrestle. I feel good when I fight, mentally, physically. It's where I actually feel the least pressure, and I'm kind of at peace, surprisingly, when I'm fighting. And arm wrestling is just a beautiful sport where you can fight a lot, right? Like, I mean, we've all probably got a little bit of experience in different arts or fields where you fight, and you're a bit limited. Arm wrestling, man, you can arm wrestle every day and walk away, and you're still good. Beautiful sport, but I mean, the why continues to evolve for me. Sport brings people together, and I've found myself in a bit of a more unique position where it's not just about me getting to do what I love, but I kind of see what it does for our community as well. So I'm trying to make little moves, trying to do little things where I know that the sport can enhance everybody's life.
I mean, that's honestly the same reason why I'm here and why Jason and Chris and Jodi and everybody, Jay, I had told them our story, our origin story, have you will, beforehand, and the grip up and that whole thing. But if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be able to meet you and Jodi and everybody in this room. It's pretty amazing. I love that it really, through combat, funny enough, brings everybody together.
Yeah.
Huge match just happened.
Yeah.
Biceps on its way back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care much about the bicep.
Yeah.
Because it's going to come back.
Of course it is.
What I care about is in between those two eyes.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
I'm so happy. It would have been great to win. It would have been, the thing that I've learned a long time ago is no matter what happens in your life, you need to find a way to make it positive. And a loss in an arm wrestling match, well, it can mean a lot of different things. For me, what it was a relief. It was it's quite a gift. It was a hidden gift for me, because basically all of us enter the sport and we have this dream to be the greatest, right? Every single person who does anything, I want to be the very best, the very, very best. And I've done that journey for a long time, probably even after I got, arguably I might have been that guy for a period in my career. I had my surgeries where I definitely dropped off, but I held on to it. I knew that I would bide my time, I would rebuild, I'd come back, and I'd chase it again. It's hard to look too far into the future, but at the moment, I'm very at peace, and it's the first time I've ever been able to say it, that Levan is the king of arm wrestling, and he deserves that place, and he can have it, because he deserves it. He is the evolution of where our sport has gotten to, and I'm really happy that that I can now say that I do not need to pursue that goal, because I see someone who is greater. I really do. And for me, what that does for me is it allows me to really go back to why I'm doing it. Like, I love arm wrestling. I love to arm wrestle everybody, have fun. And it can, when you're trying to be the best in the world, a lot of that has to be sacrificed. And now I don't feel like I have to sacrifice that. I can just go back to exactly what I want to do, So it's a gift. It's a gift for me. In no way has my fire been dimmed in the sport. It's just, it's going to be reshaped a little bit, and I'm excited about what the future holds.
I'm really glad to hear that. And, I think when all of us compete at this, higher level, which a lot of the people at this table have, and, a loss can be tough, but to hear that you're in a good mental place, I think it's great for everyone at home, because, as everyone who is here in the studio today, we are big fans. And, if Jay or Chris could touch on, we're, in my apartment, all of us were here, we're just watching it, and we're like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. And, we were honestly, I don't even, what was it like? What do you guys, like, if you could describe watching that match?
No, again, it was surreal because, we look up to you. You're really one of the main reasons why a lot of us got into it. So you kind of represented us, not only because, again, we're not Canadian, but we can connect how you're our side of the world. So it was, again, like you said, it wasn't a result we wanted, but I think you did your best, and that's all we really wanted. To see, to get onto that stage was already a huge step. So,
yeah, I felt everybody. With me, and
if I may interject on
please.
this one. So, Devin is he everything he just said is true, I think, for what he is feeling and where he is now. But there were some dark hours after the match, and more so not because Devin didn't succeed in his goal of beating Levan, but more because of the feelings of him letting so many people down, which, for the rest of us, we're all like, don't be crazy. That's, of course, you didn't let us down. You did this amazing thing. But there were some dark hours, absolutely. And, Devin's had an amazing support system, friends, family, fans. And, there were a lot of people that really put a lot of belief and hope into him. And rightfully so, but his feelings of letting people down were much more difficult than the loss for his own personal development.
None of that's true.
Yeah, I had to call. Actually, I had to call in Neil Pickup. Will back me up on this. I had to call in Neil Pickup for support.
I was like, I got my money.
Right after.
I'm happy. Let's go party.
I'm really happy you brought that up, because some of us that were on the team, we were talking about it too. And this is not a knock to Levan whatsoever, but the the reason why this was hyped up so much was it was, the reigning, champ, or whatever you want to say, versus this, as in your own words, a titan, among the earth. But sticking that name against Levan, it blew it out of proportion than more than I think anyone ever could have imagined. This really became like the Super Bowl of arm wrestling. There's huge names, and we could name drop a million of them, especially in North America, over in Europe, and all that stuff. But you add Devon Larratt to it, and it becomes something different. Now, that's going to be my segue into my next question, because you are Mr. No Limits. My question to you is there a limit?
Wow. I mean, clearly there are limits to everything, right? It's just, I find it's an ability to look forward. That's I think what the key to No Limits really is, because obviously everyone has limits with whatever it is. It's just, how do you take the current situation and continue to move forward, continue to grow, continue to make your contribution to this planet something to be remembered, right? Because that's what all of us are here for. We've got arguably a short or long time on this planet, and when you go, you want to leave something behind. And yeah, I mean, that's really what a lot of it's about, is building something better, and that's where I hope No Limits can really become something special. Yeah,
got to put that on a t-shirt. We'll shorten it up a little bit.
I saw a really funny post today. Somebody said, instead of No Limits, it's KNOW limits.
That's good.
Yeah,
I like it.
Interesting, right?
Know your limits. That's good.
Yeah.
We pulled together a lot of questions from our team. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to pull my phone out, ask a couple of questions, and see where you're at with them. These are all obviously raw. We didn't ask anything beforehand, obviously. But first and foremost, this is actually from one of my employees here. He's a big fan. His name is Josue. He said, we kind of just touched on this, but how did you feel about when you handed the hammer over to Levan? At least myself, and I know a lot of people, there was a little bit of a feeling of like he was like a hammer. Did you feel that, or
No.
how did you feel handing that over to him, and how do you think it was received?
That was probably my favorite part of the whole experience. There was a huge part of me. I mean, arm wrestlers, we watch each other. We know who we are. I met Levan in 2018, and at that point, I already kind of thought, I'm like, this is probably the dude. Like, he's so impressive. And I think among, top-level arm wrestlers, Levan has been regarded as the man for quite some time. You talk about the journey, like Michael Todd had the hammer, and that was supposed to be the unification match between East and West, number one. I took it from Mike, and I kind of carried on that mission for him. I knew going into it, it was going to be a very tall order to defeat Levan. I gave it my 100%, but I did know that the likely outcome was I was going to be handing that hammer to him. And for the sport and what the hammer means, I knew that was an awesome thing. Like, to have the hammer in the hands of the rightful champion. So that felt good to me. And Levan, I felt like he really understood, and I think he's happy to have it, and we'll see. I mean, I think Vitaly or Dmitry Saliev is the only hope, but I think Levan is up
Small
here,
hope.
and everybody else is just trying. I don't know.
I mean, we're definitely gonna, we need some people. I think it's gonna be a growing period.
Yes.
Maybe the next 4 to 5 years. Maybe some people from the High Five in New Jersey.
Yeah.
We'll make it happen, yeah, baby.
Time to get massive.
I should just take these off. He just touched me. I just got greatness. No, this is good. No, but it's definitely a growing period for sure. You know, I'm sure there's some people, you know, coming up from all over the world. And it's just a matter of time until either some, like we just talked about a little bit earlier, another strong man may come over who's, you know, a 6'8" giant or something like that. And, you know, I think it's, you know, it is. We were joking earlier. You got to test your frame. Well, that is one hell of a frame.
Yeah, man. The bar gets raised, people see it, and then it's possible. You know, it can be done, right? Like, I mean, the sport just continues to grow. There's money in the sport now. You know, young, good athletes can be like, yeah, I can do this. You know, and it's worthwhile. Yeah, I mean, what we think is possible now will be, you know, the norm in like 5 years, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be absolutely crazy. Jay, I know you've been quiet over there. I know you have a million questions. I want to hear that beautiful voice. I know you got something for Devin. Hit me with something, baby. Let's go. Yeah, I know you got it. There's definitely been some brewing questions. I mean, you guys did go out last night, so I don't know how much conversation happened then, but
we never spoke. It was a very awkward
not at all.
dinner.
Very quiet dinner.
Total zen, just
Never,
looking at each other,
said anything.
sizing each other up.
I don't know about that. So I will say this. It's more, I don't know if it's so much questions, because for me, you're the first person I watched. You know what I mean? Like I know I said this yesterday, like I kind of styled everything, and I guess I should have gotten more fundamentals at first, but like I tried to style everything after Devin. Like you could tell what videos I watched. You knew who I was watching.
So I already see you've changed your clothes in the last 24 hours. So I mean,
Fail.
Yeah.
Fail right
Let's
there.
be real about
Just
this.
on the table.
Okay.
Just on the table. I can't even grow the Wolverine beard. I can't even grow a beard.
All right.
And no hair. But I don't know if it's so much questions. It's just like when I went to pick you guys up, like it's just, you don't look at all as big in the videos as you do in person. Like it's just totally different. Like it's just been absolutely impressive. The whole process, watching the competition and seeing how you were there and how you are in videos and even how you and Jodi are together, and then meeting you, and that's actually who you are, you know? Like you're a massive human being, but you're just this relaxed, really cool, like all these months we've been talking, like here and there, I don't know, like it's impressive, to be honest with you.
My editing skills are so limited. So
Yeah, but you're not shrinking yourself. Like you're like, I mean, you got next to the car, and I thought we were going to get on your back.
You got to remember, right? Everybody that I'm arm wrestling is like either a heavyweight or super heavyweight.
True.
Right?
True.
Everybody's big at that level. There's no, like, the frame size in arm wrestling. It's impressive. It's a lot like strong. Like, I mean, you see strongmen next to each other. They're like, oh, okay. And then you see them in person. You're like, okay, yeah. They're big dudes. Yeah. Same thing with arm wrestling. Yeah. But
to your point about size and camera and video and whatnot. So as we show up in Dubai for Levan, I meet Levan for the first time. I see him. He's a big guy, absolutely. But leading up to the match, right until this particular moment, I'm like, you know what? I never know how he's going to do. I never think, oh, he's going to win for sure. I never know. But I was like, yeah, he's got a chance. Levan did his walkout. And he did one of the, like, I don't want to hurt the mic, so I'm not going to go crazy, but he did one of these, like, I don't know if stock camera, I was like, grah! And I swear to you guys, the entire building shook, and I was like, oh, shit.
That's why the song was so soft.
Huge. Yeah. He's just like, he's 415 pounds and shorter than this guy. Like, he's massive.
The most deceptive is Vitaly Larratt. You see pictures of Vitaly, videos of Vitaly, and you're like, yeah, he's a tall, skinny guy. And then you meet him in person, you're like, no.
6'9", right?
That's a
big, that's a very large human being.
But he's not skinny. He's not skinny. It's different. It's different when you meet a lot of these guys in person. Yeah, big humans.
All right, so next up we have from Norm. He's on our team, and he actually had a really interesting question. He wanted to know what's happening right now with Armbet. You know, he said he feels like it's a little bit it's kind of because of everything that's been going on, it's been taking the back seat. Are you looking to move that forward right now or develop it in any way?
I'm so glad you asked that question. Armbet, yeah. I should be having my
Little
hat
plug,
turned. Yeah,
you know?
Turn around.
Get on Armbet, everybody. Armbet, I will continue to, well, I should never say I when it comes to Armbet because it's a great team that we have now. We have a big vision for it, and we will continue to grow this thing forever. That's the plan. We have an endless amount of vision that we want to see happen through the app. And I'm learning, like, I've been a military guy for my career, right? And, now I'm, going out into the business world a little bit. I mean, if you want to call it that. And I'm learning about things like app development and programmers and contracts and things. And it's like, oh my God, it's really slow for a person to tell this electrical, I don't know even what are you even talking to on this computer to make it do this thing? It's so weird to me, but it takes time and there's bugs and there's issues. But yeah, Armbet, the next big step that we have coming, which I'm so excited about. There's a lot coming, but probably the thing that I'm most excited about in the next release is the club feature. The club feature is going to create hubs where people can speak the same way that you're speaking to individuals right now. Guys are going to be able to set up clubs that are on the app, which are going to be more like mini message boards. There's going to be a few other features which make it really good. The long-term vision of Armbet is it will be the hub for everything arm wrestling, and not to take away from everything else that's going on, but there's quite a vision behind it. I want to incorporate it a lot through just for myself because I like the sport. I know what I need to have fun with the sport, and I want to be able to do it through technology. And so, yeah, I'm guessing within the next few months we should have something, a big push, a big update.
I mean, yeah, that would be awesome. I know I would love to. I'm glad you mentioned about the club because, Chris, myself, and Jay have talked a lot about, we're really, shameless plug here. High Five, best arm wrestling club in New Jersey. We are really trying to step ourselves up. Fed everyone in this room, they've played a huge integral role in our development. But I've said to them a million times, like, this needs to be like we're going to go travel an hour and a half and come challenge their club. And we're going to put some money on the line. It's kind of like that WAL style, but these traveling hubs. I'd love to see that to where you're like, well, the High Five is taking on Lethal Arms or whoever, or the
We're
Ottawa
doing
High
that
Hookers.
now, right? Like that's happening even in Ottawa. That's happening between clubs. Gatineau, which is the same general area.
I love that.
It's
That's
great.
so great.
There's like club boards for matching up where people are ranked within the two clubs, and then it's cool.
Won't be long.
It's a good thing to do.
I would love to see
Ranking
that.
would be really cool.
It's gonna have it'll have rankings. We
That
can
would be
do
awesome.
club rankings. It's all gonna be on there. Like Sherdog for arm wrestling.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right, the next question we got here is actually from someone in the studio right now, our man Federico over here. So he said, you sure that you had your fair share of injuries throughout your arm wrestling career, whether it occurred during training or the result of a match. If you could go back and give yourself advice on how to prevent such injuries and promote longevity in the sport, both on and off the table, what would you say?
Well, for sure. And it's very difficult to go back and give yourself, you should have done this, you should have done that, because you probably did the best thing you could have at the time. And even if somebody tells you, it might not always apply. Sometimes you have to learn these hard lessons. For me, too much, too fast, too eager. The training that I did through my 20s was completely psychotic. But it's hard. I mean, it's hard for me to go back and be like, well, I did end up being the world champ, So it's very hard to say it was wrong, it was right, but it definitely gave me a whole lot of arthritis. I think that you have to look at training as stimulus. Okay, it's a lot of things. Okay, lifestyle of arm wrestling. It's fun, and if it's not fun, it's not worth doing. Like that's why you do it, because it's fun. But you should try not to hurt yourself. A lot of times with training, like I was like dropping weights and catching them, and like I remember I was down in my basement. I had like what's it called, a sewer grate, and we used to do like pushes with sewer grates, and my friend would be above me with a railroad tie, and as you're pushing up, he's hitting the sewer grates like ding, ding, and like rust is like flying in your face, and, like hardcore stuff. But like if I was
Tiny bit of tetanus.
I would go back and I'd be like, Devin, don't do that. It's stupid. You know, I think that you have to have patience. Don't rush it. Don't rush anything. It's going to happen. Just take your time. And there's a concept that I'm really trying to work with a lot in my mind. So I did for the last 2.5 years a very interesting fitness experiment. Way of the Giant Pumpkin and the party arm. It's fascinating, okay? I learned a lot from both of them. What I learned from the party arm actually, to me, is almost more new and more interesting than what I learned from the pumpkin arm. What I learned because believe it or not, the results that I had from the party arm were really good. Like I advanced my left arm with party theory more than I would have normally. Now it still didn't compare to what I did to my right, but there was some very, very good things in there. And I think that as an athlete, if you have your why sorted out, if you have your reasons why you're doing it really, really sorted out, that means you're probably really motivated. You're really motivated to reach your goals, whatever they are. And I think that we have this psychology where we're putting a lot of pressure on ourselves. And I don't think that that's required. I actually think that the body doesn't lie to you. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. It should feel always fun. So you can shift your psychology. Just do what's good. Like set your goals hard and enjoy the process.
And you'll get to your goals faster if you don't have injuries along the way, right?
Yeah. So now my overriding theme is party harder.
So does that mean the right arm is now the second party arm?
No.
Are you double double fisting now?
I'm not double fisting, but it's pretty close. So what I've done now is I've taken party theory and I've upped the tempo of it.
Oh, we're getting real scientific. I love this.
Yeah. So basically, what I realized is it's really, really important just to do what you like to do. So what that means is normally I was arm wrestling like 3 days a week. That was normal for me throughout most of my career when I'm training really hard, and it would be separated by days where I would do pumpkin training on my right. Just like rehab, volume, whatever you want to do on those off days. And now what I'm doing is I'm doing like 6 days, a week where I'm arm wrestling because I enjoy it more. It's more fun for me. And so the pumpkin component where I'm just pushing fluids and working like volume a ton is now the capacity of that is smaller. I'm doing more what I want to do, and the intensities have kind of changed a little bit. I'll probably get into more of this during the seminar, but I think that there's a middle ground there between discipline and fun. The struggle of Apollo and Dionysus. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. So those two, like structure versus chaos. There's a lot of things that are good in chaos, right? So long as you let it just go, right? Like, you want to arm wrestle, you want to get good at arm wrestling, arm wrestle. You enjoy it, do it. You're going to get good at what you do and what you love.
Sorry for that awkward pause there. So the one question that I have, and I have up on the board here. So my background is through strength and conditioning. I used to be a strength and conditioning coach. Now I work here, but I'm very, very interested because, as we mentioned, I've done strongman, I've done powerlifting, and I'm kind of doing pseudo bodybuilding / arm wrestling right now. But I think the trend I've noticed, and I would love to hear your opinion on it, is North Americans tend to do tons and tons and tons of table time. But from what I'm seeing, and from my, almost case study, whatever you would say, is I feel like the European method of almost like 80% gym time, 20% table time has kind of like slingshot some of these athletes out of nowhere. Now, I don't know if there's a short-lived, proponent of that because of it. But where do you fall on the how much time do you, other than, I know you enjoy just being on a table,
right,
but if you had to write a program for yourself, where do you fall in terms of how much weight training, how much arm wrestling specific stuff you're doing versus like time on the table working on technique?
This is something that I've played with and changed a ton over the 30 years that I've done it. And what I've really found is that there's a lot of answers that work.
Okay.
You can succeed with a lot of them. And there's a lot of factors, okay? There's a ton of factors that you have to kind of keep mindful of as you are drawing kind of evaluations from which training system works. I would tend to agree with you that we've seen a lot of athletes do very well off of gym-based programs. However, I also believe that there's a lot of evidence that will tell you that you can do similar things through table time or, very structured table time. Table time can look a lot of different ways. You can have table time where, it's very loose and, very, flowing and, enjoyable for 2 hours. You can have very structured table time where, you're working with somebody and you're generating top end pressures in different motions. A lot like you see guys like Krasi do it, and the Bulgarians, they spend a lot of their time on the table, but it's not a lot like what you see typically in a North American setting. There's a lot of ways to skin the cat, and I am always so hesitant to say that this is the way that you should do it. I'm very, very prone to saying this is a way, this is a way, this is a way, this is a way. Play with all of it, and you're going to find your best way. It's hard to get away from three concepts. Table time. Okay, it's just really hard to say that you can't do. Like, you need table time, especially, I'll say, on the road to mastery. Like, I think if you break off into, specific gym training stuff too early, you're not going to be technical enough. And I think that most of the technique comes from table practice, table time, competition, things like that. Then you have a concept of volume, right? Volume is super important. Volume is easy to add in the gym. Right, it's very easy to add wrist curls, riser, pronation. Just stack it up so that your metabolism. You're going to make physical changes. And the last one I'd say that's super important is 1RM work, like your actual top end strength stuff, which is, it's hard to do on the table because it's not safe, right? For most 1RM, I'd say 1RM work is probably safest done in the gym. Where you break,
or maybe on a cable or something
that's what I mean. Like,
okay, gotcha.
Just not. I mean, it's
you're not max benching or anything like that.
No. Oh my God.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because someone like Levan, he was repping like 500 like it was a cakewalk.
It's true, and I'd say a lot of the reasons why I don't do it is because I'm 47, and you only have so much energy and you're limited by injuries, and there's a lot of factors again. But I think that it would be hard for me to say, if a guy wants to be a world champion arm wrestler, let's have a bench day, let's have a squat day. I'm like if you really just want to be an arm wrestling world champ, I'd say, be healthy, but dude, if there's a choice between bench and doing hammers or like wrist work, hard to ever throw in something that's not specific. Yeah, at least from my position, that's what I believe.
Yeah.
Devin's evolved over it seems every single match he's had, every opponent is something different. And it can be like extremely different all the way along. And I think that's what it inevitably comes down to. Like, he's always testing new theories on training. Always developing, always growing, and taking pieces from what has worked and incorporating into the next
and there's
style.
there's a huge difference between the open weight division and weight division arm wrestling. Big difference. Like if anytime you have a weight cap, put the weight where you need it most. If you're a super heavyweight, things change, man. Like, would I take an extra 10 kilos on my legs? Yeah, damn right I would, for sure. If my body can hold it, yeah, no, it's good. Obviously, if you have stronger calves, in some way, it's going to help you.
I'm glad you said that, because that's, Jay and I have been talking about that.
Here we go.
Yeah.
No, here we go.
It's okay. I'll stroke myself, my
Take it,
ego
take
a
it,
little
take
bit.
it.
You know what I mean?
It's all right, big guy.
Yeah. I once at one time was a pretty strong squatter.
At one time.
At one time, they're still there. But no, I think that's what I've been preaching to them, because Chris and Jay have been the most amazing, welcoming, and really knowledgeable coaches that I could ever ask for amongst with all of my teammates. But I tell them all the time, I'm like, what's wrong with having a strong toe? Or a cat, it pushes through the table. Thankfully, because I am in the super heavyweights, unfortunately, I will never be in the weight class below. I don't think it's physically possible. But throw some squats in there. Throw a little work to push off that. Hey, maybe we have the next Jerry Carteret. He has to kick off that table a little bit or something. I'm sure it'll help.
It would be nice to do more too, to be honest with you. Like you said, with weight class arm wrestling, Devin, it's a little frustrating. I know we've had this, I think, recently, Chris a little bit more than I, because we've cut him down. It's a little bit frustrating to have to pick where the weight has to come from. You know what I mean? I know we joke and so forth, and I didn't like when we went to IFA, I had to cut down, I had to stop training legs. From an aesthetic point of view, it kind of bothered me, but it's frustrating to have to deal with that, and all that, all that you've gone through, all that we've put you through to get where we wanted you to get, and just maintaining, it's a little frustrating at times to not just be able to live and see how strong I can get,
There's something that we've joked about a lot, on the high hookers, because this is a constant discussion, and it's be the best you can be, or be the best you can be in a weight category, and it's a very different psychology, very different. And the thing is to be the best you can be. Well, if you're a 165-pound dude, it might look like you being 195 pounds. And not doing as well in a weight category, but you at 195 is definitely beating the guy who was 165, So it's, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Do you want to win your class? Do you want to be the best you can be? It's interesting.
It is like Jay and I have been having this discussion a million times. We're going to be trying to make it to the Arnolds this year and all those things. And it's like, Jay, well, what are we going to do? What's we're having these group discussions of, where I'm trying to write his training program, and he's telling me about the arm wrestling techniques, and I'm just like, but we just need to get you, like a freak in your weight class and all that stuff. It's coming.
I do have a question though, Devin. So now that we're talking about all of this, you're an exception to who's here, obviously, in the sense that you are a large human being. You know what I mean?
Speak for yourself.
No, easy. 6'6", though, with the frame and everything. You were an amazing 220. In every weight class you've accomplished something, but I know where you are now is not where you were. That's not where you came from. But looking at both, if you can look at both, I guess. See, our problem a lot of the times is like for Chris and I, we go back and forth training and coaching and trying to improve each other. And for Chris, for example, I think Chris is definitely stronger at a slightly heavier weight class, but then he's pulling people that are my size. In terms of levers and leverage and everything. And I have the same issue. I'm not a small guy. I'm not really a big guy. There's guys in my weight class and in the 220 that are 6'3", 6'4". I don't know. How do you make that decision? What's your take on that? Because it's a very frustrating thing.
Yeah, so I'd probably say two things. Do what makes you happy, and I'm not talking about always short term. Do what you think you can do for most of the people who are listening are interested in arm wrestling or sport, and probably you're potentially interested as a lifestyle, right? So think like, okay, where am I going to be happy to live? Am I going to be happy? And kind of base it a little bit off that. And I would say generally, when you're younger, build yourself, because you're going to probably hit some kind of a peak of physical overall development. And then, I hate it when I see guys who are like 19 and like early 20s and they're cutting into classes. And I'm like, man, just grow, just grow. You're young, just become as strong as you can be. And then when you're like physically kind of mature, I don't know, maybe by the time you're like 30, okay? By the time you're 30, you've probably gotten really close to, your maximum physical size. And then from there, you can be like, okay, this is how big I am. Obviously there's things that you can do to change that. But if you want to, look at a long future, be like, okay, I can dip down to this weight class and I can kick ass because my frame size, I will be like in the most powerful strength to weight, my frame, my class. If I want to win and be a champion, that's my class. And then you can kind of live in a different place. And if it's, because a lot of times arm wrestling is not about weight class. It's about, I can beat you, I can beat my dad. I can beat my brother. I can, and if that's the case, man, go for it.
And that goes back to the not rushing it, right? Like being able to build and not be like, oh, I started 2 months ago and I got to be champion in 6 months. Like taking your time and doing that development and building will better prepare you to achieve those goals again and do it without hurting yourself,
Yeah, we're definitely guilty of that sometimes.
Most people are.
Sorry, coaches over there. My bad.
A bunch of young guys in a room, I think that's inevitable, unfortunately.
Yeah. We do have one question from in the room, my man Steve over here. And I just want to so what I think he wants to know is what do you do to recover, right? Essentially, like downtime. Are you doing the hot cold treatments? What is it you're doing, or is it just blood work and more arm wrestling?
Yeah. There's a lot of things that probably work really well that I'm not doing. What I've found are keys for me is movement and blood flow. Above every single thing, it's movement and blood flow. Find the pain and work with it. Never re-injure, no sharp pain. Work with the dull pain and push fluids. The thing that arm wrestlers have is tendonitis and connective tissue strain, that's kind of more unique to us. Like we get sore, no big deal. Probably even your worst sore, even your worst rip, like 8 or 9 days, you're going to be better. Like worst case scenario. But you can have tendons, ligaments, and the circulation on those things, it requires movement. Like they will not heal unless you flush them. So that, I like to walk a lot. And if there's one supplement, it's fish oil. You can drink that stuff like every time you go. I know they say like 5 grams a day. Yeah, you can drink it. That's basically it. Movement, blood flow. That's it.
Speaking of walking, I did ask you earlier. So I kind of love the fact that I found out that you walk barefoot all throughout Ottawa.
Man, I will walk.
I mean, you're wearing them right now. I'm offended that you're wearing
I know,
shoes.
Right? I feel. I never know.
Don't be so
Thought it was
constricted.
the law here.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
There will come a point when I never wear them. Never again.
Never.
Probably.
You hit that age and you're just like,
never,
I'm old.
Never putting them on again. You're gonna have to kick me off
His
the
feet
plane.
have almost become shoes in and of themselves.
I'm
at
sure.
This point,
Leather.
so.
Are we at the Hobbit stage yet, or almost halfway there?
I pretty much go barefoot from about April till November. Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. Once the snow and ice start coming, I normally get like 1 or 2 walks, and I'm like, okay, all right. see you in April.
So we did touch on obviously the weight classes. You're coming down, right? Have you thought about, because we just talked about you want to do this for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we want you to have the longest, most healthy life you obviously can. where do you think you're going to settle?
I don't really know. It's new. I mean, so when I was, I'll call it a healthy guy. I think that my most natural weight when I'm eating like a monster and in good shape was between 245 and 250. And I spent like 90% of my career, from like 25 till probably 40 in that range. But I was eating like a monster, and I was younger and I was lean, and I was working at a job where I needed cardiovascular to some degree. Now in my 40s, I've gone all in a few times, and I got my weight up to, I think I was like low 280s in the morning dry, for definitely a few occasions over the last couple of years. I'm already down to like 262 in the morning, just what I weighed in before I came down here. I want to let my weight settle where I'm not having to eat like a madman, and I'm training as hard and as much as I like. Where will that be? Will it go back down to 245, 250? Maybe. Will it go lighter because I'm older? Maybe. Will it stay higher because, I've eaten so many freaking pancakes for the last couple of years that some of it's going to stick? Maybe. But we'll see. I think I'll have a really good answer by when I have to put my shoes back on for the winter. Yeah.
Gotcha. No, I mean, we're always in this evolution. We're always in these different stages of our life. I mean, some of us in the room are younger, some of us are older, some of us are, all on this different journey. I know I'm trying to cut, but now that we're talking about the Arnold, I'm like, but I gotta be strong, massive. We're bringing 10 people, baby. We're going to be there. But now
everybody in this room is expected to go. By the way,
hey, I got it. Just a quick funny thing we can do. Okay, so we're going to sushi tonight.
Okay. Oh, please do. Come on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my. Oh yeah. Jay, I'm gonna puke.
No. Okay, so we do a pre-weigh-in and a post-weigh-in.
Oh my.
Okay. There's a scale right over there.
Interesting.
I am gonna put my money down
Federico.
that I am gonna crush all you guys.
Oh.
I'm telling you.
Fed.
Oh yeah.
Fed.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
Fed, tell her that you're eating meat tonight. It's fish. Don't matter. Just let her know now. No avocado rolls, buddy.
So no puking. If you puke, you lost.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
There we go. Good.
That's fair.
Regulate will.
Oh, it is. You know what the sad part is? I'm
too excited.
I have to do a weigh-in Sunday morning, and I'm just gonna tell my coach.
Oh no.
Sorry.
That's it.
It's one meal.
It's one meal.
Only one
We'll
meal.
all burn it off tomorrow.
I'll crap it out in the morning, and then there's pizza tomorrow and breakfast.
there you go,
and,
see?
we'll be all right.
Will was the first one to break that rule.
Oh, don't worry. It's going to be fantastic.
I feel like Jason and I had a conversation about something along these lines last night, and how evil and disgusting it is to force yourself to eat so much
That's
food
gonna happen.
when others go without.
That's the thing that I don't miss at all. Like, I mean,
the force feeding.
if you want to be a super heavyweight, that's the hardest thing.
Waking up at 4 a.m. to eat,
Like, you're
and then
pregnant.
go back to bed.
You're at like month 8 as a woman.
I'm
for, like, the whole
surprised
time.
though.
Oh no, you
because
don't. You don't get to make that call.
Well,
You're what,
Whoa.
6'5" you are?
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I mean it depends. They met me, I was a little less, like 3. I met you at 400.
Yeah.
I was 4, and it's just like I can look at this water and I'm like, man, I just gained 2 pounds.
You were like 370
Yeah,
something, I think.
we're gonna
almost
have some-
380.
He's
Almost
super
380.
frustrating to be around because he's like, I think I need to lose 10 pounds. And there it is.
I lose weight really easy, really easy. I'm supposed to be like, I'm probably supposed to be like 230, 235. Probably. Like, I eat like a maniac, 245, 250.
Wouldn't
Yeah.
that be nice?
Right?
I wish I could be 230.
Hey, I've been my whole life, ever since I read Pumping Iron when I was 5, I'm like, I just want to be
Huge.
huge. And it's frustrating,
No, it's fantastic. Oh, we're gonna have some fun tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, and Jay, by the way, Jay can eat. Like Jay can really
No,
eat.
he can't. No, no he can't.
No, this is going to be fantastic.
I'm going to the bathroom before we go out to eat.
Steve can eat, apparently.
This
No,
is for
Steve.
sure.
I mean, I'm sure Fed can eat. Fed, he's good.
Oh, Fed can eat.
If Jay
Fed
allows
can
him
eat.
to.
Well, no, that's as if he didn't eat 5 donuts before he got here, because that's the trend. Oh, two. Just to clarify, 2.
2 donuts.
Fed always has pre-dinner and then dinner when we all get together. That's his problem.
2 donuts?
That's in
like,
you now, buddy. You're done.
That's like an inhalation over here. What are you talking about? Oh, this is going to get so competitive.
That's what the High Five actually stands for. It's 5 donuts before practice, right?
Exactly.
I'm fine with that.
And he's got the sugar
that might
high to go
that
with
might be
it.
the next shirt.
I was just
the
about to
arm with the
say,
donut
forget
We're
the
always looking
stars.
for shirt ideas. That's
No
it.
more stars.
That's
It's going to
it.
be 5 donuts in a circle.
Yeah.
Oh
Super
my
Double-fisted
goodness.
party.
Super heavyweight.
Oh, jeez. This is going to be a horrible. I feel so bad for this sushi place.
They like
Oh,
it.
we're gonna
They like
we're gonna
it.
ruin them.
Oh, that bathroom
We're
is
gonna
going to
ruin
be
them.
blown up.
They're gonna hate us.
All right,
We've never been to this one, so it'll be Will that can't return.
No, what do you? Oh, yeah, I've been there a million
You've
times.
been there, yeah.
It's so good. Before we wrap it up, I do have this is one of my favorite questions to ask anyone, and this is for everyone at this table because I know we've all done something, that has pushed ourselves to a limit. I find out Jodi does these insane 21-day fasts, which we're gonna chat about that.
Well, I did one.
All right. Well, you still did it. You know what I mean? So,
Done one day. 21.
we'll start. Devin, I'd like to start with you. Mindset, it's everything. And you come from, which you've talked about, from a military background, and you kind of when you look at certain people, you can tell that they've been through some shit. And what I would like to know is one, how has that shaped you as a human being and as an arm wrestler? And 2, as in my own opinion with this, I think people are better off as human beings if they've had to push themselves to what really truly is an absolute limit. Because I think most people in their day-to-day lives, they never challenge themselves. They never really know what it means to to truly put 100% of yourself into something. So if you could touch on, how did your growing up, your life experiences and everything you've been through, change you, and which way has it? But do you go to a dark place when you're on the table or all those types of things? Like, what is your mindset, and do you think it's benefited you over the years?
And well, I guess in terms of mindset surrounding, a goal, I would say that I don't get to a dark place. I'd say more I live in a dark place. And then as it approaches, I become more free. I think that I've had a few kind of transformative psychological moments in my life. We could go back far, but I'll just give you one. And it was to do with levels of commitment. I think that I was a little bit of I'd call it elitist. And I think, on reflection, it's inaccurate. As a lot of people know, I was a military guy, and, really, with absolute certainty that you can definitely die doing that job. You're asked to go and fight, and, the stakes are life and death, and, you've accepted those because you believe in what you're doing. And I used to believe that that was somehow reserved for that occupation. And, since 2016, 17, when I left, I have very much realized that that was an arrogant point of view, and that, anybody who's in love with what they are doing is willing to sacrifice themselves for it. Whether you're a mother, whether you're a builder, whether you're an artist, you're all in, right? If you're at the top of the pyramid, if you're deeply passionate, you are all in. And I saw that in Dennis after I'd retired, and it was so inspirational for me to see the level of commitment he had for his goal. And I realized that, you have to, if you want something bad, it's going to take that to win in anything. I don't care what it is, but you have to be all in if you want to be at the top of the pyramid in anything you're doing.
I love it. I'm just gonna pass. I got goosebumps over here. I'm gonna pass it down. Jodi, how do you feel about how mind state and pushing yourself to that limit? Has it changed you in any way?
Devin's always a tough act to follow, and quite frankly, it's not fair to have to.
I should have worked the other way down. I'm sorry.
Yeah, hello.
I apologize.
Also, he has
horrible host moment.
He also has this amazing way, and by no means do I mean this as an insult, but when he talks, he tends to lull me to sleep sometimes. So I was kind of just along for that journey there.
It's a good cadence.
It is, yeah.
2 times speed. 2 times.
Right. So sorry, what's the question?
So essentially the question is have you pushed yourself just in any way, whether it's in family life or business or physically, and has it transformed you along your journey?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't, Devin and I living in the same house, I don't think you can be in a house with this guy and not absorb that. Like we try to impart this same kind of wisdom for our children about, pursuing your passions above all else. And when we don't even mean like right now, but like forget about trying to make money, forget about trying to live according to what you think somebody else wants you to do. Just find whatever it is you love and throw yourself into that. And then everything else will fall into place. Maybe I'm off topic a little bit there, but yeah, I mean, putting everything that you are into something that matters to you, you just grow from, right? So the mindset is basically identify the goal, whatever the goal is, and yeah, you take whatever steps you need to achieve that, and yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that Devin said, kind of. Whether it's art and stuff, like I'm an actor, I write some stuff sometimes. There's the fasting. And I find that for myself, when I am in the throes of a very specific goal and I'm on the path to it, it never feels more like I'm living than when that's happening. And that kids as well. Like we have 3 amazing children, and whatever it is, their development, if I'm involved in that, that's a pretty fantastic passion of mine as well.
Love it. Jay, Chris, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, you can go first.
I've experienced things, and I've had some, bad stuff, as everybody's had, but I think for me, what's made me think the most is looking back and realizing when I didn't put everything into something. You know what I mean?
So the opposite perspective.
Yeah, like realizing now, like, oh my God, I could have done this. I could have done that if I was 100% committed. And in the things I wasn't, whether it was because somebody told me not to or whatever it was me that chose to not be that committed. And, I know I'm kind of bringing it back to this, but I genuinely feel like, the passion that we've had for this, it might have just been that next thing that we were doing. Maybe that energy could have been in something else. Maybe it will be in other things, in family and in everything we're doing. I have noticed now that we're kind of putting, I don't want to say everything with family and everything, but I want to, as much energy as I can put into this, I'm putting into this. And I think everybody in this room sees what we've done. All the members see, this is huge. What we've done in 15 months, where we were, right? We said it last night at dinner, but Fed, you were there in the park, just one of 4 weird guys standing next to the jungle gym, hoping people didn't think we were there for the wrong reasons. And it's amazing when you put energy into something. I've discussed I need to put more energy into, physical energy into the training and everything, and really get back to that focus we've talked about. But I think it's great to see the energy work now, and you know, it doesn't bother me that I didn't do it before. Like it's just, it made me realize I need to.
Learn from it, of course. Last up, Chris?
Yeah, no, I gotta close the show. But yeah, I think for me, I guess opposite to Devin, where you're saying you starting in this dark place and growing there, and then eventually freeing at the competition. Being part of a team now and seeing other people, kind of psychoanalyzing them and myself, I've noticed it's more when you get to the point of competition. A lot of people that's where they push themselves. They're like, oh, I'm really nervous. I've never been on this stage before, whether you just started arm wrestling or you committed so much to this, and now you have to kind of push that last barrier. So I see in my own progression, in the beginning, it's like, all right, I got to go in there, like I'm going to attack like this wild animal, and I like black out everybody else, and I just do whatever I got to do at the table. And then slowly as I grow, I'm seeing like, all right, now it takes a village. You know, you got to understand, like there's people coaching you. What are they saying? You know, and what can I take? And like Keystone, for example. Great example where I think that was like my best performance to date, and solely because of the people around me, where when I first started, I couldn't even tell you what happened at the match because I was like, oh crap, like I just blacked out. But now this one, I remembered, like, I actually didn't, funny enough, I still remember during the match, but I remembered in between when, like, you had your corner people telling you, like, all right, this is what you should do next. This is, you know, I'm seeing you doing this. You know, people are massaging your arm. I felt like a legit, like, fighter where you had, like, say your point with the whole Levan thing, you had your support group. And I think it helps with that mindset and knowing, like, all right, you have these people behind you. I have to win now. It doesn't matter. I'm going to push myself. I have to win. You know, and sometimes the result isn't what you want, but you know that you gave it your all, and I think that's where you really push yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
I could add one thing.
Yeah, please.
You know, while everybody was talking, I was, you know,
Letting the wheels are
Ignoring
turning.
them and thinking about what he wanted to say.
terrible.
He can
person.
watch back the podcast. It's okay.
It's all. So, you know, people talk about mindset. People talk about confidence, and I am a huge believer that you don't just pull those things out of a hat. It's those things are created, you know, over the course of a lot of time. You win, you have confidence, you have a strong mindset because you are competent, because you've done the homework, because you've done the work that the other person hasn't. So mindset, confidence, it's not something that you just show up and have. It's something that you've worked for longer than your opponent, right? You do the homework, you win. You do the homework, you get the grade. You do the homework, you know, you win.
Yeah, true. So tomorrow we do some homework.
Oh yeah.
But tonight, woo, let's go, baby. Well, I can't believe this is about to happen. This is hilarious. But everyone here and everyone in the studio, thank you guys so much for coming on this episode of the SignatureCAST. This was honestly a dream of mine. And I thank everyone in this room. I don't think this would have been possible if not for everyone here. So Devin, thank you so much for coming. Jodi, Jay, Chris, guys, that's it for another episode of the SignatureCAST, where we talk bodybuilding, business, and everything in between. Devin, leave him. Oh, that's it. We're going to leave him with the bicep.
Boom. Stay massive, everybody.
Woo. We'll see you guys later. Peace. Jodi, could you hit that for me?